The final NXT before Stand and Deliver took place tonight in Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. And right off the bat, I liked how the show started off because we got a nice visual of Orlando. We saw a really cool sky wheel. And I'm just refreshed to see a city that's not Las Vegas. The amount of times WWE has shown us the Vegas Strip the last year, it's made me feel like I'm from Las Vegas. It's insane. But it's a big deal for them to be there, so I understand why they hype it up so much. They've never hyped up a city as much as they are with Las Vegas for WrestleMania before. We see the Vegas Strip every single episode, multiple times. Now, you had a show tonight where I felt that Stand and Deliver this year, before the show, the build-up has been underwhelming, and I also felt that the Roadblock show, which took place at the theater at Madison Square Garden last month, was a much better built-up show and was a great show. And I felt that Stand and Deliver has not been living up to that, and that's not even a PLE. That's just a special episode of NXT. I also felt they did really good shows in Cincinnati. They also did a really good show in Atlanta, and probably one of their better shows they've done was the New Year's Eve show, which took place in Los Angeles this year. So they've had some really good specials. I felt that the Stand and Deliver card wasn't as good as those specials, and I thought it was worse than the Vengeance Day PLE, which was also a good show. So I was not too hyped for it, especially the start time isn't desirable. It's also not desirable for the wrestlers who have to start, have to get to the show at 5 a.m. However, that being said, they did a great job of hyping up Stand and Deliver, and this was a damn good episode of NXT. I don't know where it ranks this year, but I would say this. It's the best episode of NXT that's taken place in the Performance Center this year. This was a damn good episode, and they did a great job hyping up the show. I just wish they would have taken their time more often to tell these stories to really get us more excited. I thought this show probably could have been spread out over like 2 or 3 weeks, but they finally got me excited, and they did a great job of selling Stand and Deliver tonight. So we start the show off with a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for the NXT North American Championship, which is held by Ricky Saints, who made his entrance to start the show to provide commentary. We had Lexis King against Eddie Thorpe against Wesley against the heavy favorite in this match, Ethan Page, all ego Ethan Page. So a cool way to start off. We had this really nice Tower of Doom spot that always gets a big pop. And then you had a part where Ethan Page threw another competitor into Ricky Saints, who was on commentary. This caused Saints to go after Page. However, once the referee saw this, he immediately ejected Ricky Saints, and he was out of this match for a while, so we didn't get to hear him on commentary. You had another really cool creative spot where Wesley hits this awesome whisper in the wind, taking everyone out. And it's like the other wrestlers were set up almost in a suplex position or like a doomsday device. I forget exactly where. And someone got driven with a DDT or something. And the whole spot's hard to explain. You really need to look at it yourself. It's really cool. And then eventually you had Ethan Page pinning Lexis King for the win. He hit this cutter. I wish you would have pinned someone else because Lexis King still holds he still defends the Heritage Cup that no one in the world gives a shit about. The Heritage Cup sucks. They should just get rid of that. But Ethan Page won, as we all knew. After the match, he cuts a promo on Ricky Saints. However, Ricky snuck through the crowd and spears Ethan Page, and he poses with his belt and getting me really excited for the match at Stand and Deliver. I'm sure he's still going to go in there and have a damn good match. No doubt about it. Next, we go to the first of 4 video promos. First, we have Jordynne Grace talking about her career. She talks about how she came up in the business. She was overweight, and she doesn't really say that, but she's really hinting at it. And she talks about her body of transformation, how she went from this heavier set girl to this woman who looks like she's built from iron or something. It's really remarkable to see her transformation. And I kind of wish she would have talked about her attitude. I mean, she has been responsible for saying some of the dumbest stuff in the past, but I've put that past. I don't hold that against her. And it seems like she's a different person now, and I'm enjoying her work more, but she could have mentioned that because that was part of her development. Next, we had a WrestleMania preview for WrestleMania in Las Vegas, and of course, what else can they do? They're previewing the show. They didn't show any of us the match cards, but they were talking about all the events coming up this weekend in Vegas, and they showed us the Vegas Strip. And by the way, this is the final show that's not going to be in Las Vegas. So hopefully for the Vegas shows, they don't feel the need to show us that they're in Vegas. We go to the NXT Women's Locker Room. We see Sol Ruca talking to her tag team partner, Zaria. Well, we also see other women sitting down on chairs. I believe we saw Ariana Grace. She's not doing anything, but we see Kalani, who was there. She gets up and talks to them. She confronts them. I remember when Kalani and So were like best friends, and they were hyping up that awesome match they had last year at one of the PLEs. They don't mention that anymore. They had such great chemistry together. But you had Kalani there. Then Izzy Dame comes in. She mentions how mean Kalani is. That's what they were talking about, basically. Just catty talk, setting up their match at a Stand and Deliver. Those were the first 4 that were officially confirmed at that moment. Next, we go to the first of 2 qualifying matches tonight. First, we had Tatum Paxley, who's accompanied by Gigi Dolan, taking on Lola Vice, who's, of course, a heavy favorite going into this match. So you had Gigi getting into Lola's face on the outside. Tatum had a cool spot where she hid under the ring and used it as a weapon to throw Lola under the ring. They kind of played up her old character, what she used to be like. I like her much more now. So you had Lola shaking her ass on the apron. Gets a big pop from the crowd. Everyone loves that. I'm sure if she shakes her ass on top of the ladder, I think the entire T-Mobile Arena is going to come unglued. So you had Lola going for numerous submissions on the break. They go back and forth. I think Tatum hit a cool powerbomb spot, but eventually Lola hit a spinning back fist for the win. Lola Vice officially qualifies for the NXT Women's North American Championship match, ladder match at Stand and Deliver. We get to see the strip once again. And then we get a beautiful Madness video promo. That's what we got, and it felt like the Beautiful Madness was back. Julia was the highlight of this, and she talks first about her friendship with Stephanie. She goes into it, and then she talks about why she turned. It's over the title. It's basically saying, it's not necessarily saying Stephanie betrayed her. It's, she's saying it's business, basically. And it's all in Japanese. She's speaking in Japanese. We see subtitles until the end when she starts talking in English. And I liked at the end how she finished the promo in English. I thought it actually added some more emphasis, especially on her feud with Stephanie, which I believe has to continue past Stand and Deliver. I don't think either of them should be getting pinned, whoever wins, which I think will be one of the 2 of them. And I have to say, though, she's beautiful no matter what. I love the blonde hair more than the blue hair. Blue hair is good. I guess it makes her look more heelish in a way, but the blonde hair, I don't know. I prefer that. Anyway, always nice to see the Beautiful Madness. After that, we get a car driving up in the parking lot. It's Trick Williams. Backstage is Ava Raine with a bunch of women, and we see Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix. And then we see Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. Tatum is selling her back. They're both looking for an opportunity to take it on Stand and Deliver after Tatum lost. And then we see Roxanne Perez come into frame, and she's upset that she's not getting a shot. Eva announced that we're going to get a triple threat tag team match to deliver. The winner will get a women's tag team title shot on NXT in Las Vegas on Tuesday. So the taping of NXT, actually it's not a taping, it's a live event of NXT at the Fontainebleau. They're not doing this the T-Mobile, but the Fontainebleau is hosting NXT on Tuesday night. That'll be the last official event in Las Vegas for the WWE. So, they're going from Thursday to Tuesday. That's got to be the longest WrestleMania week ever because I think the WWE World opens on Thursday. It might open Friday. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. They're going to all be in Vegas by Thursday for sure. But they hyped that up, and Roxanne Perez is upset because she needs a tag team partner. All I thought right now is hopefully she can reunite with her good friend Cora Jade, her shoot best friend in the world. And I'd like seeing them together, and maybe they get a tag team title run soon. That'd be cool. Speaking of tag teams, we get a gauntlet match for the winners to face the NXT Tag Team Champions, Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom at Stand and Deliver. First, we have Hank and Tank out first. Their opponents are Tyson and Tyreek. They win. That was obvious they were going to win. Then you have the Cullen coming out next, Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance. Where the hell is... Well, I was going to call him Ty Dillinger, Sean Spears. We never see him anymore. Izzy Dame prominently featured. Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance had a good showing in this match, I have to say. Even though they lost, had a good chemistry with Tank and Tank. We never hear from Sean Spears anymore. Maybe he's just going to be a trainer. But the heels had the heat for a while. Then Hank and Tank countered when Tank basically reversed this Doomsday device for the win. Next, he had the no-quarter catch crew, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. Miles did a cool dive on the outside, but then Tank got the roll-up win for the victory. Then you had Josh Briggs and Unomura out next, and I thought for sure they're winning. Briggs and Unomura are winning this. They did a really good job of hyping up Hank and Tank. They were exhausted. They went through hell. They went through a grueling match. I thought, well, they're basically in the same position that Bayley and Lyra Valkyria were on SmackDown when they started first in the tag team gauntlet, and then they actually won. I thought, okay, they're not going to do the same thing 2 times in a row. They're protecting Hank and Tank. They went through like 3 or 4 grueling matches, and they're going to lose to Briggs and Unomura, who are this big, tough, strong tag team. One thing I was thinking was, I don't know if Shawn Michaels wants to book Briggs and Unomura because they're so big against Fraxian because they're so small. The height and weight difference is so much. I don't think it'd be a visually good showcase, even though the match would probably be a lot better. However, because Unomura is awesome. However, they had Hank and Tank win. It looked like a botch to me. I thought Briggs got pinned, and Unomura was supposed to break it up. It looked strange. It was a roll-up. It almost looked like a botch. However, Hank and Tank won the match. I guess it wasn't the way they were hyping up after, and they take out Briggs and Unomura, and they are headed to Stand and Deliver. And I'm sure Hank and Tank are going to go in there with Fraxium and just have an awesome match. You had Callie Armstrong, who is a woman from Evolve. She signed there, and she's talking to Stevie Turner about her match on Evolve. Ava says there's going to be a surprise entrant in the qualifying match because they had Stevie go back and, I forget that guy's name, whoever Ava's assistant. They went back in Ava's assistant and they announced a surprise entrant in the final qualifying match. Turned out to be such an awesome surprise, I have to admit. A really good feel-good moment. We'll get to that later. He had Obafemi arriving, and then we saw Dark State lurking in the background. We get a Jada Parker video promo. And I thought, wow, we just saw this exact same stuff on Raw, and it was with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. We're literally getting a repeat. It's almost funny because she was talking in Japanese as Io Sky was talking on Japanese last year, and we saw this last night, and we were seeing the subtitles, so it almost felt like a little bit too similar. But here I actually liked it, and I don't mind it. You know what? If something works, it can work. We just saw the tag team gauntlet match replicated on SmackDown. We saw the same thing on SmackDown. Now we get the video promo thing we just saw on the last Raw. So it's kind of funny. But Jada Parker talked about her childhood. She talks about how she was the only homegrown talent, as all the others have come from somewhere else, which is true. Julia's from Japan. Stephanie Vaquer from Chile, and then Jordan Grace from Impact, but she was never actually from Orlando, exactly where they are. And she talks about her childhood a lot. She's walking right in her own home neighborhood, which is interesting. We don't really get to see that. She's actually just walking down the streets. This looks like some suburb in Florida, but she's doing a good job here, and I really liked how she teared up. She talked about her uncle, who was her best friend. Her father was basically a football coach, and he wouldn't let her play, but she was really, really close with her uncle. And once her uncle died, it really hurt her, and she was tearful. I thought this was a different side of Jada. She talked about how she was always in a woman's locker room and how women always want to tear her down. I think she's being a bit too honest because WWE always likes to pretend that all the women, not much more, maybe like 5-6 years ago when I was doing the channel before I took that break, like they would always produce these documentaries of how all the women are like the sisterhood and they're all supporting of each other. And I think Jada Parker's being a bit too real for that. All that women's evolution stuff that they did, there's so much of that. But I appreciate Jada for being real. Anyway, I thought this was actually my favorite one of the 3, to be honest. The announcers say something's going on backstage, and we go to a parking lot brawl, which was scheduled between the family and the Dark State. The Don's not there, so Stax calls them to fight on. He tells Adriana Rizzo to hide in the car. And then we have the family. They have extra members. They look like they're older people who are most certainly not recurring characters on TV. And I actually like that because it added a bit of a realism to it. You believe, this mob family has extended family members who are going to fight for them. So we go to a parking lot brawl, and you had the family brawling with them first in the lot, and then they go into the PC, they go into the storage area, they go into locker rooms and back outside. We saw a couple table bombs, we saw a wall get smashed, which is always good to pop. I think we saw a fire extinguisher go off, we saw a couple car bombs, and as the Dark State's getting the upper hand, we see the Don arrive in a car. He beats them all down with the crowbar, they retreat. So the family basically has won the parking lot brawl. And then the Dawn announced that the family will face Dark State at Stand and Deliver. And he went off on Stacks for a while for going over his head. He really gave it to him. I think it's obvious Stacks is turning at Stand and Deliver. And I thought it's kind of funny. We go from a parking lot brawl on NXT to just a 6-man tag team match at Stand and Deliver. But it's fine. I don't mind it. I'm glad the family are being featured because I think they're an entertaining act in NXT. The family and Chase U, we'll talk about them later. They're really good acts on NXT. I don't know how much so far to go on the main roster, but I like them in NXT. They give me entertainment. Stephanie Vaquer, we get a video promo from her, and this was the most upbeat of them all. It's basically just her with her family in Chile. She's obviously really happy. She's so proud to be Chilean, representing Chile, and it's just a really upbeat video. I really enjoyed it. It was the shortest of the 4, and there was nothing to it. Just, she's a babyface. Everyone loves Stephanie Vaquer. It didn't really need to be anything other than that. It was just her going home and doing promotional work for WWE, and they were just filming it, and I thought overall I really enjoyed it. We go to Kelly Kincaid. She's interviewing Hank and Tank. They cut a total babyface promo, and then Fraxium appears, and Nathan Frazier's being heelish. He walks past them. He says, they're not going to win. And then he had Axiom shaking both of their hands. I hope we don't get a split up. I don't think we need to see that. I think that would hurt because I think these two would be really. I think they have a lot of potential as a team. I don't know how far they'll go as a single stars. Backstage, Roxanne Perez is complaining to Ava in her offense that she's the heel. I meant to say that she's the heel and that she can't go in the match alone. That's what she's complaining. I mean, what heel would want to go into a match alone? Then he had Stevie Turner suggest that she find a partner. Roxanne doesn't want to, and Ava's, saying that you can't find a partner because of your attitude. That's what she's basically saying. And then we hear a familiar voice. It's Roxanne's best friend in real life and sometimes on the show, Cora Jade. She wants an apology from Roxanne, and that's how they ended it. I think it's pretty obvious from that point. She would be Roxanne's tag team partner. Karen Petrovich is out. She shows that loser Shante. It's like one of the only things about the show I didn't like. I thought she broke up with him a few weeks ago, but that loser Shante is still there. Then you have the announcers running down the Stand and Deliver card. So Cora Jade is now confirmed for Roxanne's partner, and unfortunately it's going to be on the countdown to NXT Stand and Deliver. The pre-show, basically. I think it's unfortunate. I was really hoping that Roxanne Perez would be featured on NXT Stand and Deliver because she's a star. But if her and Cora win, I guess they'll be on the Las Vegas NXT show on Tuesday. So at least we're getting that. But I wish Roxanne was on the Stand and Deliver show. I'd rather see the family in the Dark State go on the kickoff show. The countdown show, actually. That's what they call it now. Isn't it weird that NXT gets a countdown pre-show match, but WrestleMania doesn't? WrestleMania has 3 hours. Why can't they just give all those guys in the Andre Barrera a paycheck, let them be on the pre-show, or let Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega have their tag team match on the pre-show as well? I know you need matches for SmackDown. It's a highly rated show because it's the night before WrestleMania, but I don't know. You could have had some of these people just on the pre-show. They used to always have matches on the pre-show. Anyway, I'm probably going to skip that countdown for WrestleMania, but I'm certainly not skipping countdown for NXT Stand and Deliver. Andre Chase is backstage. He's talking to 2 younger wrestlers. I forget their names. And they're basically talking about reforming Chase U, and Andre doesn't want to do it. And then suddenly we hear a familiar voice. Oh my goodness, it's Tia Hale. Huge pop. She encourages Mr. Chase to reform the stable. What a moment. He asks her what she's doing. She says she's a proud alumni, so she's done with Chase U. But she wants him to reunite the stable, get back together. It'll be different characters now. It'll be different faces, but it'll still be Andre Chase. I'm so happy to see Chase U reunited. Thank goodness. Hopefully we get a cool segment with them on NXT. Probably not, won't be at Stand and Deliver, but at least I think we'll get a nice go-home, feel-good, end of the WrestleMania week segment with Chase U reuniting at NXT Las Vegas on Tuesday. I think that'll be a really cool moment if we get that. So we get Karen Petrovich and Tia Hale. Tia just ran through her. She beat her with the Kimura submission. She made her tap, and then right as Tia celebrated as she won the match, she got a big pop when she came out. I love Tia Hale. It's like she's like this tiny midget female Ultimate Warrior. How she runs to the ring, it's hilarious. But welcome back, Tia Hale. You had all the other women standing in the crowd. We saw actually Zarya and Sol Ruka standing on that platform. We saw Kalani Jordan in the crowd. And then we saw the other woman, Lola Vice, in the crowd. And we saw Izzy Dame in the crowd. And Tia Hale celebrating. Welcome back, Tia Hale. This was the first feel-good moment of WrestleMania week, I have to say. First time all week we get our first nice feel-good moment. She's been off, I don't know, for months. Just so happy to see her back, and I'm rooting for her. Hopefully she wins. I think she'll be the fan favorite. As for Carmen Petrovic, who I thought had a good chance to be in this match, hopefully she ditches that loser. Ashante, those post-WrestleMania cuts, if they're happening, did post-Rumble cuts this year. I'm sure they're going to do post-WrestleMania cuts. Ashante, you better not check your phone. Maybe you can join his other Hit Row alumni on the unemployment line. So we get the final face-off for the NXT Championship. It's Trick Williams, Oba Femi, and Javon Evans. So Trick's out first, then Oba, then they argue for a bit, then Javon comes out last. So they mentioned Alabama. One of them went to Alabama, and they do the whole Roll Tide. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this promo sucks. Javon Evans sucks on the mic. He's young, but man, he can't cut a promo to save his life. This is dying a death. I'm thinking to myself, please end. Trick sucks on the mic too. He's not a good promo. He is Jey Uso. I hate saying this. Trick Williams is Jey Uso. Whoop that Trick is yeet. I hate saying yeet. Jey Uso sucks. Have I said it enough from yesterday? Jey Uso really sucks. Okay. Whoop that Trick is yeet. That's all it is. Trick can't cut a promo. He's not that good. He's very average in the ring. Carmelo Hayes is way better in the ring. Problem with Carmelo is he's small, so he doesn't really have much of a shot. And he's better on the mic too, but I mean, he doesn't have the size that Trick does. Trick doesn't have either of them. He probably can just stay in NXT. It wouldn't hurt him to stay there for a few more months, to be honest. I don't think he's really ready. But I mean, I don't know, the whole whoop that Trick, they can do that with the yeet, whatever it is. But Javon obviously is very young. He won't be coming to the main roster probably for at least maybe a couple of years, at least a year and a half. Not anytime soon, at least. But he can't cut a promo. Oba Femi, however, could cut a promo. He's the only good thing here. Oba better win. He should be champion for a while. He's so much ahead of the other two, in my opinion. I thought he did the best here. Anyway, they brawled. Javon got thrown to the outside twice by Trick and Oba. And almost felt like Trick and Oba should just be the main event. But then Javon does a springboard double cutter, takes them both out. He poses to stand tall. He ain't winning. So that's the best he's going to get. Overall, great episode of NXT. Final episode before Stand and Deliver. It really delivered. And this was, as I said, the final show for WWE that's not in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week. So they're in Vegas soon. Stand and Deliver will be this Saturday. For me, I'm going to have to... it starts at 1 o'clock, the main show, but I'm going to watch the countdown. So 12 p.m. for me is when it starts. I'm looking forward to Stand and Deliver. My predictions will be up soon, and I have to say, this was a damn good episode of NXT, and I am very excited for Stand and Deliver.